Okay guys, in the last video we went over how to use Stellarium if you were to download it onto your computer using Windows or Mac. Again, you could even do Linux or Beta, but I'd be surprised if any of you need to do that. But what some of you might need to do is the web-based version. If you're using a Chromebook or your phone, you don't have the option to download it and run it as a program. And in that case, you'll need to use the web version. And you could go to stellarium.org, click on Stellarium Web, and this would be an internet-based version of the same program we looked at before. So I'm going to click on that, and now this is a version of Stellarium that you can use in your web browser. It works. I don't think it's quite as good, but you could also put it on a phone. I've never tried that, but you could do that. There are apps, and you could use this online version. I find it very difficult to use without a mouse for scrolling and zooming in and out. You can do it with 2 fingers and so on, but kind of awkward. It can be done, but it's and you guys are probably better at it than me, but little awkward. We can see the graphics are not quite as good as the downloadable program, and there are fewer features. It's a little more basic, a little more simplified, but it still works, and it will work just fine for the activities that we're going to do. And again, what I'd like you to do is make sure that you can use Stellarium on some platform, whether it's Windows, whether it's an Apple product, whether it's a web-based version. Future assignments are going to be using Stellarium, and for now I just want you to be able to get the program up and open, play around with it a little bit, get familiar with it before we actually use it. And if you have the time, something you might want to even try is going outside with it and seeing if you can use it to find some constellations or planets and things like that. But again, same basic features as the other version. We can see our compass directions here: south, here we have west, there's Venus and the moon. We can see the moon is in a crescent phase right now. There's our moon, right? We can see the stars. We can see planet Venus, brightest night sky object, next to the moon. And just like before, we can put on our constellations and our constellation art. So we can do most of the same things that we can do with the downloadable version. It's just a little more basic. Graphics are not quite as complex. We can put on our grids. We'll talk about those. We can add deep sky objects like galaxies and so on. And it has the night mode too. Again, I mentioned in the last video, the color red does not interfere with our night vision very much, which allows us to use this better. You know, if you go outside without the red light on, you're going to lose your night vision every time you look at the screen, and you're going to have a harder time seeing things. Here's the full screen, of course, and we should be able to. I'm a little less familiar with the web-based version. This is just a logbook, but we should be able to change locations, just like you did before. It's over here. Yeah, so we can change locations to anywhere in the world. And we can change date and times. You know, again, I'm a little less familiar with the web-based version, but you should be able to do pretty much everything that you can in the downloadable version. Graphics are not quite as fancy. I think it's harder to use on a phone. I think a mouse really helps, but you should be able to do this. You know, again, things look best at our zenith point. You should be able to do this with any device that you're using for your schoolwork. So the web-based version, the advantage is you don't have to download and install a program. You can use it on a phone, you can use it on a Chromebook, and it has that advantage. Otherwise, I think the downloadable one's a little better, but they'll both work, and you can use both to do your assignments. So in the future, we'll be doing assignments and activities using this program. And for now, all I want you to do is to be able to make sure you can get onto it and you could use it, whether it's the downloadable version or the web-based. I need you to have one of these functional. So the assignment for now is get Stellarium up and running on a device and play around with it. If you have some time, you might want to try taking it outside and see what you can see. I asked you in the other video to use the sky map outside. You might want to take the sky map and this outside on a laptop or a phone or something and use both of them together. Might be a cool idea. So anyway, something to think about. And there are also all sorts of interesting apps out there to help you find constellations. You might want to play around with those. I've had mixed success with those. With the apps, what they usually do is they find your location automatically and they'll align the constellations to your location, date, and time for you automatically, which is nice, but I have had them not work that well. So, it's really important to be able to use your head, use your brain, and use a combination of the paper map, use a combination of the computer, because the computer doesn't always get it right, especially those apps that are supposed to be able to do it all for you. Sometimes they work, but sometimes they have trouble finding their way, and then you're not looking at the right thing. So it's helpful to cross-check it with an actual map and make sure that it's really showing you what it should be. I've had some bad experiences with that. So anyway, for now, make sure that you could get one of these programs working, the web-based or the downloaded version, on a computer. It doesn't have to be something you could take outside either. The assignments that you're going to get from this will be, it won't be necessary to use outside, but make sure that you can get something with Stellarium up and running, some device with Stellarium up and running for next week, because we're going to start using it for activities and assignments. All right, so anyway, that's all for now, and good luck. If you're having any trouble with Stellarium, let me know, and I'll try to help you out with it. But I think between all of these options, you should be able to get something functional.